Well, I thought it'd be fun to do another video on a Beretta that I bought and want to clean up, which would be this one right here. This here, we've already made a video of this. This is the Beretta 92S. Shoots a 9mm bullet. Pretty sweet gun, but that's not the subject of our video this time. This one here is the Beretta 1951. These are all surplus pistols. As far as I know, they've come from Italy. The 1951's a 9mm. Did a little bit of work on that one. Video on that is on the channel there. You can watch that if you like. The next one that we worked on was the Model 81, also a 9mm. Another surplus pistol from Italy. And this here is not a surplus pistol from Italy. This is a kind of an interesting little Beretta. We'll talk about it briefly before we move on to the subject of this video. This little Beretta has a pop-up barrel, and it's chambered in 22 short. So the magazine's pretty small, just fit into 22 short bullets. It's pretty fun to shoot. I've got a couple of these, but easy to carry around. I'm not sure it would be a best selection for self-defense, in all situations. That said, I still don't want to be hit by a 22 short round. It's powerful enough to do some real damage. But today, here we have the Beretta Model 85BB. The other ones, the 92S, the 1951, and the 81 are all 9mm. The Beretta 85BB is chambered in 380. 380 is, as far as I understand, the same diameter as a 9mm, but short. So it's kind of like a 9mm short, just as we have 22 long rifle and 22 shorts. So we can consider the 9mm and the 380 to be the same relationship. This would be the 9mm short. So this gun came in pretty good condition. It's not too beat up. I haven't fired it yet. We should always go through our guns and take them apart and clean them and understand them, before we take them out and fire them. So I'm kind of excited to get this one going so we can shoot it. Doesn't seem to really have any big issues with it, except for right here. I don't know if you can see this or not, but the rear sight is not in the middle, not even close. So it looks like, because there's a significant dent right here in this corner of the sight, it looks like the gun was dropped and fell right on that corner and didn't really, strike anywhere else hard, just in that corner. So we've got two things that we need to do. One that I have to do, which is move this sight back over so it'll be in the middle. And two, something I want to do, which is take a file and, I don't know if you can see that, but where the metal's pushed up right there. Maybe it's not showing up very clearly, but right here in the corner where it got hit when it fell, the metal's been pushed down. So the reason I want to straighten that problem out is because when I hold the gun up, I felt like this metal sticking outside over here of the sight on the right side was a little distracting, so I didn't like that. So we're going to take a file, level that, and then re-blue that, and then take the gun apart like we always do and clean it. To move this sight over, there's a couple ways to do that. One way is to lock this or clamp this slide in a vise and tap it over, which is how I've always done stuff like that in the past. But this time I'm going to try out this universal pistol rear sight tool. That's from NC Star, I guess, VISM NC Star. I have not used this tool before. I took it out of the package and looked at it and played with little knobs, but I've never used it to adjust or put a sight back in the right position. But we're going to do that today. So the first thing I'll do is I'll remove the slide from the frame, and with the Berettas, it's done by pushing this button here on this side. See, when you push this button, it pushes this pin here. Let's see if you can see that. See how it moves up? When this is pushed up this way, that then allows this lever to be rotated. This lever, when it's rotated, will unlock the slide from the frame, then I can slide it off. So now I have the lever all the way down, and the slide will come forward. Just like that. That's pretty simple. So we've got our recoil guide and a recoil spring. It looks like it's in good shape, dry. I don't see any oil on it. And then we'll remove our barrel. So to remove the barrel, you just lift it up this way, well, which is down, right? Because that's the bottom of the slide. But I have the slide upside down. When I do that, I push the barrel up like this. That allows me to slide it back and remove it from the slide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a couple minutes and flatten this little corner here, because like I said, when I was looking down the top of the slide through the sights, this metal sticking out the side here. I don't know if you can see it very well, but anyways, I felt like it was distracting to me. So I'm gonna get rid of that. I got my little cheapy file set here, which I've used on quite a few guns over the last few years. I've got 3 of these sets. They're not expensive. This particular one's from Harbor Freight. So that probably means it's the metal that's used to make these files isn't, the highest quality and the hardest out there, but for just light gun work, it seems to work just fine. Now, when I look at this rear sight, which you probably can't tell in the video, but it's been machined, so I can see machining marks that go this way. So when I move my file to flatten this, I want to follow the same direction. So, which means I don't want to go like this, because then I'll have some file marks that go up and down, and some machining marks from the factory which go, horizontally here. So I don't want to do that. So I want to match my movements of my file to match the machining marks. And I'll be moving the file like this, being careful not to scratch the slide, of course. And you may be able to tell that with just a few strokes that I've already created a flat spot on this metal that on the corner of this sight that's been pushed over. So we just want to go slow, take our time so we don't slip. We need lots of control, because if my file, which is pretty hard metal, contacts the slide, it's going to scratch the bluing right off of there, and maybe even make a little mark in the metal, which we want to avoid if we can. So continue to flatten this here. All I'm going to do is flatten it. Ideally, it'd probably be nice to push this metal back up, but I don't really have any way to do that cleanly. So we're just going to file that until it's flat and not distracting anymore. And then we'll glue it so it won't stand out. Because a shiny spot on the side would probably distract me as well. Looks like we're about almost halfway done here. As you can see, my files contacted the side of my sight enough to kind of rub some of the bluing off. Trying to do this without scratching anything, and trying to do it and allow you to see what I'm doing at the same time. Okay, we're almost there. About 2/3 of the way there now. So just about finished. It doesn't need to be perfect. I just didn't want it to be sticking out because, like I said, it kind of distracted me. I didn't like it. About 4/5 there, I guess. Now my friend, who's a gunsmith and machinist, I'm pretty sure he would just clamp this slide in his vise, and then with the plastic or rubber, hard rubber inserts on the side to prevent it from marring the metal. And then he'd have very controlled strokes of his file. And he'd probably cringe to see me doing it like this. Okay, I think we're just about there. I think that will be good enough. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we need to push this sight over to the right, and we're going to do that with my rear sight tool, which, like I said, I hope it works. And I have not used it before. I played with it, but I never use it. It's been sitting around for a while. I don't know if you can tell, but there's dust on this. I bought it a couple of years ago. Never even took it out of the package until the other day when I said I was playing around with it. So here's the tool. It's got all these little knobs to adjust. It's got a little some kind of hard plastic platform. Well, when I was looking, I think we'll be using that. I'll show you how this works. And we hope that it works to straighten our sight here. So the slide goes in here, and then the slide is pushed down in two spots. One here against this platform down here, and two, this right here is going to move right or left depending on how I turn this threaded thing here, and this clamps the slide from the side. So there's a little arrow here that says muzzle forward. So what that means is the slide goes this way. So the muzzle is this side. It's got to go that way. Let's see if we can get this done. I'm going to need some room. So I'll run this up by turning this knob right here. See how it makes that side go, that part of the clamping system go up. I'll slide the slide into here. Now what we're going to need to do is this this adjusts down. There you go. This little flat area. This is metal, but on the bottom of it, there's this insert here that's not metal, so it won't mar the slide. So that needs to push down this way to hold this slide in position. Let's see if we can get that done. I'm going to use this hard plastic thing because this platform down here, as you can see, it's threaded, so I can move it up and down. But if you have a real small slide, you might run out of adjustment. So I think that's what this is for. So we'll go ahead and use it, although I'm not positive I have to, just so we can see how it gets used. Wait a minute. So let's put the slide in and see if I can get this set up. Like I say, I've looked at it and kind of played with it, but I've never used this thing yet. So I guess we're learning together. So I'm going to adjust this platform down here by threading it up, which is hard for you to see because I can't hold this sideways and adjust it up. Sorry about that. And then adjust this down. I'll show you how this works once I get it in position and clamped into position. Okay, we're getting close here. And then we need to adjust these on the side here, because we're you know, holding the slide this way into position so it can't move, because we don't want it to move. Okay, it's getting tight. Like I say, I haven't used this before. I messed around with it, but I've never used it on a rear sight before. Okay, so that's pretty tight. This is pretty tight. These two here are tight. It's got to be tight enough because, you know, we'll be putting a fair amount of force on this to move this sight over this way. Now, the instructions said something about I need to move this forward, so see how my slide is angled? We'll do that in a second. The instructions said something about, you know, making sure the level of the slide up and down is such that when you adjust the sight, that the metal here, right here, doesn't contact the sight as it moves over. So I think I'll have to be watching it just to make sure. So I need to move this little plastic thing forward and put it more in the middle so that my slide is not angled down but level, I guess. Okay, let's see if we can do that. How would we do that? Oh, I know. This little hard plastic thing apparently needs to be directly under this right here, so I don't have 2 points, but I'm kind of squeezing it right in the middle. We can do that. Let's get that done. Sorry about that. So loosen this slightly so I can slide this, hopefully without having to take it all apart. Slide it forward so it's directly underneath, or pretty close. Sorry about that. Okay, I think we've done it. So we'll tighten this up again, then we'll have to recheck everything. The instructions also talked about, looking through this window here, which I'm not really sure. I can't see clearly. I think they were looking or telling us to look for, possible contact between this metal and the metal of the slide, which you can't have. All right, let's go. Let's see if we're able to move this sight to the right. We'll just see if we can, usually do this on a table like this, and I'm looking this way, but for you guys, we need to do it actually incorrectly so that we can hopefully see something here. So as I'm turning this threaded thing here is causing this piece here to want to travel to the right. And that's the direction our sight needs to go. I'm pushing on it pretty good. I think I can see the sight moving. So yep, it is moving definitely. So I'm just going to visually put it in the center, and then we'll have to take it out and fire it and see if I need to adjust it. May have to put on some sort of a rest so I can hopefully eliminate most of my own personal error. Let's see. As far as I can tell, we have got it in the center. Sorry, I need to get the light on here so I can see. I think I need to go another 0.5 millimeter. All right, it visually looks like it's in the center. Let's back this off. So, because maybe that's making it hard for me to see if it's in the middle or not. Yeah, I think I passed it slightly. Let's go back. It should be pretty easy, I hope. All right, we'll remove the slide from the tool and inspect it out of the tool to see if it looks like we are in the middle. Yeah, visually it looks like it's right in the middle. So we'll have to go and test fire it, but it's probably right on. Yep. All right. So if it's not, with this tool, it's easy to move. In fact, I could even do that at the range, I suppose. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean this like we do. We'll be taking these grips off just to look inside here, which, like I said, I haven't taken this apart before. Always make sure you use a screwdriver that is the correct size. This one barely fits that bill because you don't want to mar your screws. It works, but as long as I push on it okay. It's really easy to mar these screws, and then, it just doesn't look good anymore. And the other side, we'll take these off and we're going to look inside. Judging from the rest of how the gun looks, I'm expecting this to look good in here, but who knows, you know. Okay. Yeah, and it does. A little bit of dust, a little bit of debris from firing it, but not a lot. All right, so we'll clean this up here, and I'll clean the, you know, in the rails and the frame everywhere, and then we're gonna do some cleaning on our slide and our barrel, and then we'll lubricate it and put it back together. Usually after you clean it and lubricate it and put it back together, you can feel right away that the pieces are moving more freely and smoothly. So let me get my cleaning supplies, and we'll do some cleaning here in a moment. Okay, I think we're good to go. I'll be using some of this M Pro 7 gun cleaner. I have a couple different kinds of gun cleaner, and they all work. Usually I just use whichever one I'm able to grab first, so I like that. The oil I'll be using is some gun oil that I made myself. I have a video on that. I put it in a bottle that had some bar and chain oil in it. I'm not using bar and chain oil as gun oil. I just put it in this bottle because the bottle has a nice rubber seal on it and doesn't leak. I'm putting the oil in this little syringe thing here. That allows me to put very small drops of oil exactly where I want to put them. Alrighty, so we'll get our gun cleaner, and I'll start with the barrel. So first, I'll use this one. I like to just kind of put some of my gun cleaner in the barrel. So I get a little patch here and sprayed some stuff on it. Here's a little thing you can run your patch through. Now run it through the barrel, and after that I'll use the little brush on it a couple times. I looked down the barrel and it actually looked pretty good, so I'm thinking this will be easy cleaning job. Looks like probably this gun was turned in and traded in for a different gun, and looks like before that was done, the gun was kind of cleaned a little bit real quick because there's not much in there. Looks pretty good. All right, let's run our brush through it real quick. That's easy. These barrel brushes, they make brushes of different sizes for different, you know, barrel diameters. Sprayed a couple little sprays on here. Let's put it through there. Scrub it a little bit. This back on, because now we're going to run our patch through there again, and we'll probably note that we're able to pick up more debris because the brush will go into the grooves there between the lands and loosen some of that debris up. Yep, see how my patch is now darker than it was? So I guess that means you can't just run a patch through and think, well, okay, it doesn't look too bad, I guess I'm done, because things changed a lot when we put our brush down the barrel, didn't it? All right, just a quick look down the barrel. I know you can't see it, but looks nice and shiny. Okay, so let's clean. We'll clean the slide real quick. So I get the same patch I used in the barrel. I'm gonna run down here and clean off a little bit of this debris off, which is from firing the gun. So like I said, it's not real dirty. There's some used guns I've bought over the years, and they were filthy. And you know, there's no way you could use it till you cleaned it. One gun I picked up years ago. The guy who sold it, he was selling it at a garage sale, and it was really cheap. It's like, you know, $50 for the rifle. I said, well, it was a 22 rifle, and I was saying, well, I was asking him, well, what's wrong with it? He says, well, it doesn't work. I mean, what do you mean it doesn't work? He says, yeah, well, it won't cycle, won't do anything anymore. I'm like, okay. So I took it and I looked at it and I realized, I think the only problem with this gun is it's just so damn dirty. it won't work anymore. I took it home, and that was what the problem was. I took it apart and cleaned it, and had a nice little 22 rifle. So we're going to get a new patch. That one's getting pretty dirty. Get some more of our gun cleaner. Spray it on there. We'll be wiping off the excess, you know, and get it real clean, which we're going to have to do if we're going to blue the corner of the sight that I filed on. So get it as clean as we can. Now we haven't gone for the bolt face yet. Let's do that. That area actually gets the dirtiest. I've noticed in most guns. Now I'm really careful with my screwdriver here not to contact my bluing or push so hard or so long that I go through my patch. I just kind of use it to move my patch around and kind of get it in the corners. Gotta be careful doing that. Another way to do that would be with a plastic tool, a similar, you know, dimensions, so it's kind of narrow. You can push your patch into those, into those corners there. Okay, well that cleaned up pretty nicely. Let's check our recoil guide real quick. It visually looks clean. I don't think we're going to need to do much there. Before we put all this together, we're going to be lubricating it, right? So those parts are done. Let's get ourselves a new patch, a little bit bigger one. We're going to clean some of this debris off the frame here. That's wiping off okay. Since this gun isn't super dirty, this isn't going to be a, you know, real time-consuming endeavor here. So this stuff is coming off. Get some on a rail so it's kind of, you know, allowed to sit on that surface for a moment before we come back and clean it. I have an old toothbrush I like to use in spots like this, but I don't know how, but I misplaced it. No, I'm not. I didn't misplace it in the bathroom. I'm not using it to brush my teeth, but I don't know where the heck it is. Nope, I don't have it here. Now I can't use a metallic brush in there. That won't work because the metal bristles will start, you know, marring the bluing. We don't want to do that. Okay. I know it's hard for you to see, but this is slowly getting cleaner. And it'll get cleaner as time goes by, because I'm going to take it out and shoot it. You know, I'll be cleaning it afterwards, so There'll be some areas where, you know, I won't get 100% of it off today, but the next couple times I use, you know, fire the gun and later on go ahead and clean it. I'll be removing more and more of that debris until finally it'll be super clean. Alrighty, so I think we're good to go there. So what I need to do now is get some gun oil and start lubing here. So you can look and see which parts move during function. And sometimes you can just look at, for example, on the rail right here, where some of the bluing is like slightly rubbed off in here. So when the slide moves, there's a little bit of contact there. And so spots like that, you know, that kind of shows you where you want some oil to go. So that when the slide goes by there, it's going to have some lubrication. The gun will feel better, last longer, function better if it's clean and lubricated. See those two little shiny spots right there? I put some oil in there. With this little syringe thing, that's very easy to do. Makes it pretty simple. Right here on the top of the rails, there's some, you can see the slide contacts there as it moves back and forth. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and reassemble the slide. So first we'll put some of our lubricant on here. Same thing, I can see where the slide is contacting, you know, stuff on the either the frame or like the slide stop in that as it's moving. And this here is where the, I guess it'd be the disconnector moves. And then here's the inside of our rails. So with this little syringe thing, sure makes it easy to put a small amount of oil in just the right place. Okay, we'll put a little bit of oil on our recoil guide. Like that. Then when we put our spring on there and kind of rotate it around, it gets you know, lubricated. You can also use a little bit of oil kind of right on the spring like this. I do with almost all my guns. I feel like, you know, maybe a little bit extra lubrication for a lot of these things might be better than not quite enough. A lot of guns will tolerate some extra lubrication on them. Alright, so we got that done. You can see a little bit of contact here in the front of the slide there. So let's kind of smear a little bit of oil in there. Let's start putting this back together. So we just go the opposite order and we'll put our barrel in, our recoil guide, and its spring. Let's see. Yeah, it's hung up here. Oh, I wasn't watching. I was trying to put the damn thing in backwards. Sorry about that. Okay, so we got that together. Now we will return the slide to the frame. I haven't blued the sight here, but I'll do that. I don't know if that's something you guys want to see or not. Now, in order to get this to lock back together, This slide needs to be in the right position before this will rotate back. Hang on. There we go. So it's back in the right spot. So now our slide can move and it's locked into place. A bit of oil right there. Let's return our grips back onto the gun. There we go. Goes this side. And get it to go back in. There it goes. I had some grips on another gun that were all scratched up. If you saw that video, I actually did some sanding on the grip to smooth it. I was planning on polishing that grip, but after I put it back together, I looked at it, I thought, no. I used a fine enough sandpaper there, it looks just fine. So I just left it as is. Don't over tighten these screws, because sure would be easy, I guess, to crack these grips here. Put this side back on. With our 2 screws, tighten them up real quick. One screw. Oh, I put it in already. Done deal. Probably put a little bit of oil. Wow, I know how to do that. I bought this for my son. Some rim oil wipes. I don't use a lot of Remington products, but he likes to get his shotgun out and mess with it. So I'm having him, after he's done, wipe it down with these rim oil wipes. So you just pull one out, and it feels like it's just got a light coating of oil on it. And at first I thought, well, it's dry, it's not going to work. But then I put it on the gun, I realized it does a really good job. So that'd be a good way to go after you handle a gun, or before you put it away. Just get something and wipe it down. In this case, this makes it easy. These disposable wipes here, just kind of wipe it down. Okay, there we go. Model 85BB, 9mm short, which is the 380 Beretta surplus gun I picked up. So it should be a fun shooter. I'm looking forward to it. Have a good day.